Hi everybody, so today I have another YSL new launch review for you, and this one is the limited edition collection that's just launched for the summer. So I'm going to be looking at this eyeshadow quad and trying it on, and I'm looking at both of these new lip products. These are Ink Vinyl Cream Collector lip products, all in the same beautiful, beautiful packaging. I'm going to be showing you swatches of both of these and also some comparisons with other eyeshadows, especially the newest one that's just launched, but also a couple of requests I've had to compare with this eyeshadow. So lots of things to look at, but not too much to try on today, so a little bit easier on my eyes. But I cannot wait to start because honestly, from swatching, this eyeshadow quad looks absolutely stunning. So I can't wait. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I show you the latest releases, my favourite looks, and give you any beauty news you might be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy this sort of content, I would love it ever so much if you did hit the subscribe button. It's so very, very helpful to my channel. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. I'm so grateful to have you here, I really, really am. And just quickly looking at my skin tone, if you're interested in how these colours work for you, I've got fair to light skin with predominantly cool undertones that lean a little bit neutral, and I've got blue eyes. So being cool undertoned usually means you can't get away with warm shades, but I can because I lean a bit neutral. So if I don't go too warm, I can just about wear warm. So hopefully this palette will work for me today. I think it will anyway, so let's get started. So before we do anything, let's look at my swatch video of this beautiful eyeshadow palette. So I've got very little information on this. It was £51. It launched on the Selfridges UK website 2 days ago. I haven't seen it anywhere else. I had no idea this was coming out now. I think I saw a picture of this on a teaser somewhere, but with no dates and no idea. It just suddenly boom popped out literally the day after I filmed my video, if you saw it, with the 4 YSL quads that have just come out as well. So it's a bit strange, they seem to have all come at once, but that's what's happened. So a bit hard on the wallet if you're looking to get them all, but this could be quite helpful if you were thinking of getting one of the palettes from the new 4 release, which is this one here, which I'll just get out. I'm keeping them in the boxes because they do not say the names on the back. So Sunrise Safari was the one I thought you might want to see it up against if you're making a decision on which one to buy from the 4 that I reviewed yesterday. So I'm going to look at these two together. The name of this one, by the way, which again I could only find on the box, is Burning Desire. So this is number 825, Burning Desire, whereas this one is number 730. Here they are side by side. And I will do a direct swatch. You can see there's quite a bit of a difference there between them. I think for me what stands out is that this one looks a little bit more like what you might have expected from this, because a lot of us expected a bit more of a coral finish with this, with the name of it being Sunrise Safari, but it didn't really have much in the way of coral apart from this tone here, which was slightly corally, whereas this one has this sort of shifty shade here, which is almost pink and coral and gold maybe. So this almost has what you might have been hoping for in this one, so or maybe not, as the case may be. So let's compare them. So here is the one that we are looking at today from the limited collection, and this one is Sunrise Safari. So I think for me the thing that really stands out is that this shade here, this sort of metallic, well, is it metallic? It's certainly a shifty shade because we're seeing pinks and gold here, so it's a very strong sort of, it does seem a bit metallic-y, but anyway, it's a strong shimmer, not one that's chunky or powdery in the same way that we get with the toppers. I'm also doing a side-by-side comparison here with Rose Exposed from Tom Ford. No similarities at all really, just wanted to show you them side by side because as I said in my last review, I don't tend to buy a lot of colour stories like this, so just in case you were curious. I've also got here the Dior Silk Taupe, which was the one that launched in this packaging, the hard packaging. A little bit of similarity here, but obviously it's much brighter, much more pigmented, and certainly this shade here completely different. So we haven't had a launch this year from the sort of high-end brands with this colour story as far as I can see, because I think I've reviewed them all, to be fair. I think this is pretty much on its own and quite unique. So I had a request to compare the shades in this to Divine Rose from Pat McGrath. So I'm just going to put, this is Divine Rose 2 first of all. So here is the Mothership Divine Rose 2. And here is the YSL. So there are a couple I can compare here. So I'm going to do that. I think I'll start by using this one here. And then this shifty one here, which is a sort of pink and gold. Well, I thought it was until I just swatched it. Well, it's one of those exceptional ones. But anyway, it's just green. It's green. Can you see green? That's so weird. I saw green on my hand. Anyway, let's go to the next one I'm comparing it with. It's really strange shades that every time I hold it up, it changes colour. It's got about 4 different shades, that one. It's quite something. Anyway, this is not a Pat McGrath review. And now I'll swatch this one here. And then I'll get this matte as well from this one. They're just nothing alike at all. They really aren't. But anyway, this is the Pat McGrath. So the matte shade, slightly similar but deeper with Pat McGrath. The shifty shade has about 12 colours in it from Pat McGrath. So it sort of has, well, it doesn't have any of the same shades as this one, which is the sort of golden rose. The Pat McGrath one has so many. And this shade possibly quite similar as the topper shade, but definitely more pigment in the Divine Rose. I will just take this and this as well. These two here from Divine Rose 2. Again, oh, I've put them on the wrong side. So this is from Divine Rose 2, but this is the YSL, these 4 here. So Divine Rose 2 shades are these 4 plus these 2, and there is nothing that matches up with this YSL quad other than possibly this matte here, and possibly that one actually, these 2. So you haven't really got these shades in Divine Rose 2. But I've also got Divine Rose, which is probably the main request. So this one, the shifty shade in this could be similar. So here they are together. So this shifty one here, I definitely need to look at that one. And which other one shall I look at? I'll look at this matte. So this matte and this shifty shade, yeah, I'll check these 3. These 3 here to see if we've got some comparisons. And I could use this matte as the lightest one. So I'll swatch this, 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 and this. So here we have Divine Rose, and it is quite similar. So whoever it was that asked me to do this swatch comparison, you were spot on that this is very similar. So the shifty shade in Divine Rose is very similar but better. It's got more of the wet look, fabulous finish. Then we have a matte that's pretty much a match. This matte is deeper, so they don't have quite the same light one. And then the one that's a topper shade in YSL, which is a different formula. This is comparing to that, but obviously this is more of a full coverage shimmer from Pat McGrath. So Divine Rose has almost a copy of this. So you've already got these colours pretty much and better, in my opinion, if you've got Divine Rose Mothership. When you pull out these motherships, you just remember why everyone loves them. Because even when you think something's really good, like the YSL, you pull a mothership out and it puts everything else to shame, doesn't it? They are so good, they really are. So here is the comparison between Sunlit Seduction and this YSL quad. Now we're not going to get the duochrome shifty one in the Sunlit Seduction, it doesn't have that. But I might be able to find some similarities. So let me just have a look and I'll show you the 4 side by side. So the 4 I've swatched are this one, this one, this one here, and this one here. So here is the Sunlit Seduction compared with this YSL launch. So obviously the slightly shifty, this is more of a metallic pink that is a bit shifty from Sunlit Seduction, but it doesn't have this gold shift. So we don't really have it in Sunlit Seduction, but we do seem to have it in Divine Rose. So there we go. That was interesting. So thank you to the person who, sorry, I don't remember names. I'm really, really bad at names. Don't take it personally. I never remember names. But anyway, thank you very much for asking me to make that comparison, because that was very helpful. So the next thing to do is to get this on my eyes. So yesterday when I tested out the 4 from YSL, the toppers were they're very fine, almost wet finish, but they are a bit crumbly, a lot of fallout, and when I tried to put a little dot in the middle for a pop of light, it just went everywhere. So I did say at the end of that video that I thought the best way of applying these was either wetting the brush or using a primer, but my preferred method, well, it depends actually, but I do probably prefer to use this from Pat McGrath. So I did say in that video that I would try it out. I didn't know I'd be trying it out with this one, but I thought, why not today? Because then you can see it in action. But I've also got the NYX Glitter Glue, which is another favourite of mine. So somebody did actually ask me how these are used. So I will show you how I use these, but I don't use them yet. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to start off by applying the lightest matte using my Victoria Beckham blender brush. As with the 4 that I looked at yesterday, you do need to really tap off because they are very powdery. So this one was almost, I wouldn't say skin colour, but it was very hard to get this one to show up on my skin. So I'm not expecting to see an awful lot of colour here, but it should give me a nice base, and this should be a nice sort of blending out shade, because that stronger matte is quite deep, so I would need something, I think, to soften it. So it's going to be good for that, but I will really get this down as a nice powder base. And you do see colour, it's not invisible by any means, it's just quite light. So it's just taking this in the crease, above the crease and outer V, and I'll do exactly the same on the other side. I'm taking the Victoria Beckham 21 brush and running the same shade underneath, which will be just about visible for a very, very, very soft look. If you wanted to use this shade maybe on a day that you don't really want much makeup at all, this could be the perfect sort of shade just for a little pop of colour. I say pop, it's not going to give you a pop, but it just gives you that sort of nice finish if you just wanted a really easy look and reach for a colour that's quite reliable for that. So I think that colour is lovely actually. I really like that. My eyes just look a bit more polished and finished just with that on its own. So now I'm going to go into the deeper matte, and it is quite a strong shade for me, so I'm just going to tap lightly and then just pat it into the outer V section to see what sort of pigment I'm dealing with. Yesterday with the new quads, they were pretty pigmented. That is quite strong just from one tap. It might not look very strong, but that is really when it's just one tap. Blending out very nicely though. I think I can risk one more tap, and this time I'm going to start sort of along the lash line area, bring it up into the outer V. So I think this shade could be built up quite a bit more than that, but for me that is absolutely plenty. That's giving me that sort of soft build up, which I really like. I'm going to do exactly the same now on this side. Well, so far, for someone who's a little bit wary of shades like this, I think both of these are working really, really nicely for my skin tone. So if you're cool toned and a bit wary of these sorts of shades, or if you're quite fair, I don't think you need to be wary of these. I think they are really pretty. It's not that sort of shade that makes you look unwell, which is very important for me with fair skin. So I'll take it on the same brush from Victoria Beckham and go under, but only in that first section. So above and below are the same. And this gives you an idea of the sort of intensity you can get with this, because this brush is a lot more dense. So that's showing you how it looks where it's a little bit more heavily applied. So you can definitely build this up to be quite a bit stronger if you look at that. But I don't want that to go heavier anywhere else. But I could use this, just lightly go along the lash line. So this is a rough, I'm not lining here, this is a rough lash line. It's using the same shade in sort of two different ways. I really like that. And I can use the other end of this brush, which has a slightly smaller sort of blending tip, to just sort of blend this in a little bit. So now for the bit I've been looking forward to ever since swatching, which I'm sure everyone will think when they get this, and that is using this stunning, stunning shade. When you saw in the swatch video just how absolutely gorgeous this one is, it really is. So I'm not going to use any sort of glitter glue for this, because this is very much like a very smooth metallic type finish. I don't think fallout should be an issue with this, and I personally prefer to apply something like this with my finger for that, oh look at it, for that pop. So I'm going to take this over the first 2/3 of the lid on this side. That is absolutely gorgeous, that really is. YSL have really come out with my favourites this year, because certainly the launch I did yesterday, the green Unexplored Gardens and Captivating Dunes, those two were just incredible. And I think this one could probably go alongside them in the same level of being incredible. That is so beautiful. So I've left quite a bit of the eyelid there, because what I'm going to do now is apply this shade so it goes into the inner corner but also into that first third of the lid. But this is definitely the crumbly one. You can see how messy it's got in the pan. So what I'm going to do with this one is use the Pat McGrath. Has it still got the name on, if I managed to rub it off? But this is basically the artist wand. I think I have rubbed off the name, but anyway, this is the Artistry wand or something along those lines from Pat McGrath. If you're not familiar with this, it's got this sort of shape on it, and you just click up to make sure it's raised up enough. It's almost like a bit of Vaseline feel. So I'm going to rub it now into the area where I want it to grip onto it and not fall onto my face or spread about. And then I'm going to take this topper on my little finger. I could use a brush, but a brush is more likely to give fallout unless it's a wet brush, but I don't want a wet brush and use this. I'm just going to use this one method today. And now just pat it on lightly where you've put down that wand, and it should hopefully, rather than rub, I can't see it much, but it is a topper shade, so I wasn't sure if it would show up anyway, but that's why I haven't done it on the other side, because I'm going to try something different on the other side. But I'm applying it more, and as I tap on more, it's starting to become more visible. But it's definitely showing signs of being better as a topper. But at the same time, when you've got a shade this gorgeous, do you need to use a topper over it? Or is it a question of one or the other? Now I've built up a bit more. Actually, I think that is showing up quite well. And because I want to pop some in the inner corner, I'm actually going to take some of the Artistry wand onto my brush, my 207 from BK Beauty, and pop some of that in my inner corner, so it hopefully will grip there as well without fallout. So far, I'm not getting fallout. Tap off a lot when you do this with a brush, and then just pat it onto the area where the wand has been applied. And that works really nicely as an inner corner pop. A little bit dark for my skin tone, but it still works. Depends on your preference. I do like something quite light there, but it does work and it is pretty, and it definitely is applying in a much more controlled way than yesterday when I didn't use this product. So that's the way I would use that. I'm going to take the duochrome shade though and just sort of go back where they meet to sort of blend it a bit more. There we go. I think that's the way I would leave that look now. I will just go in with a brown mascara, a brown liner and a mascara, I think. I'm not sure it fully needs a brown liner, but I will do it. You can imagine just with mascara, with this sort of fairly deep eyeshadow shade, you don't necessarily need to use a liner, but I think I would prefer to. So now on this side, to do something slightly different and to show you how I use the NYX glitter glue, I'm going to take this shade now all over the lid without leaving that third, so we can see if there's any chance you can actually use the other one as a topper on top of this. I really don't think there is. Personally for me, I would choose to go with this all over the lid and use that as a topper and skip this one out if you can bear to do that, or use this one all over and this one just for inner corner. That would be my personal preference with this palette, I think. But I will see, I haven't tried the topper on top of this to see if it changes it a bit, so we will see. It's just so gorgeous. I can't imagine wanting to change that in any way at all. So now I'll show you how I'd use NYX glitter glue. Even though the Artistry wand I think would still be my preference over the two. And if you were going to use the wand, I'm going to try a sort of pop in the middle with the topper, down the middle here. But again, I don't think it works with this, but I just really want to demonstrate it more than anything. So if you wanted to use the Artistry wand, you literally go lightly over, just gently, because it could move the product a bit, but you can go over the shadow. So take it down the middle and leave it, or like I did earlier, take some on the brush and dab it on, which could be a very safe way, a very safe way of applying it without moving the powder underneath. But now I'm going to show you with the NYX glitter glue. So I'll put some on my hand. That much, you don't need much at all. And this is the Victoria Beckham number 22 brush, and can you see this tiny flat detailer that comes on the one end? The other end is this, which I'd probably use for more of a sharp wing, which I'm not using today. But this tiny flat end, I'm going to just take a little bit of the NYX glitter glue onto that brush, and then I'm going to take the glue into the middle here. You can also pat it on with your finger, you don't have to use a brush. So just in the middle there. And then take some of this topper shade on my finger and pat the shimmer shade onto the area where the glue has just gone. And then you can see that sort of glitter on top of this incredibly shifty shade, which I really don't think is very necessary, but it is actually giving more of a pop. If you'd like more of a pop. That is actually still quite beautiful. So I am now getting right in the middle of the eye, that pop of shimmer. I do actually like that a bit more than I expected to, you know. I think I'll use the same brush to pop a little bit of glitter glue as well in the inner corner. So I would rather use the Artistry wand for this, but I'm going to use the glitter glue. It's just a bit easier, the Artistry wand, but NYX glitter glue is really, really good, and if you're using a very, very chunky glitter, that's when I would use that over the Artistry wand. I think the Artistry wand is better for this sort of work, but I wanted to show you both in case you've got those sorts of products in your collection. So now I'm just going to finish in the same way I did on the other side, so taking the topper on the 207 BK Beauty brush and just patting it on top there where I put that glitter glue, and it should just adhere to it without moving all over the eye. Which it has. So there we go. There's the two ways of wearing it and the two ways of doing it. But I do think there's a couple of different ways to wear this, as I said earlier, but this is going to be my preferred way, because this is my preferred out of the two, because I want to see as much of this shade as possible, because I love it, and just have this little pop there in the center, which I do like. I do hope you can see that. It gives that extra pop of shimmery, wet look on top, which is actually quite stunning. I'm actually taking a little bit of this on my blender brush because I want to see it above my hooded lid. So I'm bringing it up a bit here as well. Totally optional. A lot of people don't like to see the sort of shimmery shades there, but I really want to see it. In fact, I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Well, that shade, it's worth buying this quad just for that shade because it is absolutely stunning. And if I was going to choose between this and the Sunrise Safari, it would be this one all day long. It absolutely would. So I wouldn't say that this shimmer is any easier to handle than the ones that came in the 4 that just launched, but you've seen today how if you want to avoid getting it in the eyes, because somebody mentioned having contact lenses, if you want to avoid the fallout and the mess, I have not got any in my eyes doing it like this. I've got no fallout and I've got no mess, because that's the way to do it. So yesterday I was just showing you how I'd use it without any of those products, and I certainly decided by the end of that video it's better to use them. So if you've got something like that, or if you need something like that, I would add it to your collection, because I think it's worth it just to wear this with confidence and know that you're not going to get that glitter all over. Plus you can get a more specific look, like that pop in the middle, which was impossible for me yesterday with the 4 I tried. And when you go for a pop in the middle with some of those shades, it really stands out a lot more than obviously it does on top of this incredible sort of shifty shade that we've done it with today. But if you do go back to that video, you'll see what I mean. It would definitely work better for that look. So I'm going to quickly pop some brown liner on both eyes, just a little bit. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Duo in brown. It's just a little bit underneath and a bit close to the lash line as well, and a tight line underneath a little. And as usual, I can't get through a look without my Tom Ford Black Diamond. Going into this light shade, pop underneath the brow. I would definitely not use any of the shades in this squad under the brow. They are just too much. This inner corner pop shade there and topper shade cannot go under the brow. So just a pop of light with this powder, and also using it to slightly clean up the edge here. I'll just pop some mascara on and then I'll be back to show you the lipsticks. So that's how it's looking with mascara, and I have to say this has to be one of the prettiest summer looks I've created so far this year. I absolutely love, love, love it. I think it is stunning. And this sort of metallic shifty finish, absolutely the star of the show, isn't it? It's gorgeous. What do you think of that? Anyway, let's now look at these two lip products. I've done a swatch video of these, so I'll play it for you. I love that when you put these together it makes a heart. I am so obsessed with hearts, so this just makes me happy, these hearts. I think the packaging is so good, so good. 10 out of 10 packaging. It is beautiful. So these are called the Inks Vinyl Cream Collector Lip Gloss, and they did seem to pack quite a punch from the point of view of pigment when you saw them swatched. So I think I'll go with the slightly more browny orange one first and finish with the other one. So this one is number 442 Espresso Kiss. This is brown. I said orange, it's brown really, isn't it? But anyway, let me try this one on first. Got no liner or anything for this look. It's got a slightly odd fragrance. It's not pleasant. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't like it. But it's very mild, but it's almost like, I don't know, maybe a bit paint-like. I don't like the smell. I forgot to mention there is no tingling or burning sensation with this on application or afterwards. So a lot of people worry about that, I know, with these types of products, but there is just nothing at all. It's just quite a cool sensation. I really like the amount of pigment for a gloss. That's really good. It's very, very, very light. It's not thick and very, you know, like the sort of lip gloss, lip balms we've been having. Nothing like that. It's very almost watery. It feels quite cool when you apply it. So it says on the Selfridge website, the benefits of this are that it's powered by a water locker, tuberose extract and prickly pear from the brand's Eureka Community Garden, a cream-like texture. I'm not sure if it's cream-like, it's too light to feel like a cream. Melts over the lips without stickiness. I completely agree. No stickiness at all, leaving your pout fuller, bouncier and instantly hydrated. You get 5.5 millilitres and these are made in France. These are limited edition and they are £38 each. So they've got this really very pointed nib here, so you can use that to line. For that final bit of precision. I'm not going to be overly precise here because I'm taking this off. I really like the shine this gives, but it's almost got a dry down to it. It just doesn't feel that wet at all. It's like I can't really feel it on my lips. I'm not sure about how hydrated I would feel. What I will do is I'll pop a comment on the screen now, because if this starts to feel dry, I will very quickly reach for a lip balm. So when I edit this, it'll be at least, I'd say, 2 hours by the time this is finished. So I'll be able to put a note now on the screen to let you know, have I reached for a lip balm or was I satisfied with the hydration from this? I'll also tell you in that clip whether or not this is still lasted, because by then I will have gone off camera, had at least my breakfast and a coffee. So has it lasted? I wouldn't expect it to, but because of the dry down, I almost wonder if it might, because it feels like it's really dried down. I'd be curious, yeah, if I do that. I'm not getting an awful lot coming off, look. It's more the outer edge where I put that extra bit, but it didn't really come off the lip, so it makes me wonder if this could have real good staying power. So I will definitely put that comment for you to let you know. So rather than writing on the screen, I thought I would just quickly film this clip. I'm sitting here doing the edit now. This is what my lips are looking like after 2 hours, after having breakfast, a cup of tea and a coffee. So as you can see, I've kept most of the pigment. It's certainly from the outside of the lip, the lining area is definitely still there. It's just faded a little bit from the center of the lips, but quite naturally. I quite like the way it's faded. So this is very, very successful in longevity for me. This is very rare for anything to last this long on my lips. But what I would say that a lot of people might not like, and I must say I don't love, is that it's starting to get a little bit sticky, and I don't like that. So the hydration is there, but it feels sticky. So I'm going to put some lip balm on, and then I'll tell you if it feels better. So I'll be back when I've done that. So I've just gone in with the Fenty gloss, which I keep right next to me. I'm always telling you how I use Fenty all the time. They all sit next to me. I'm sitting here where I do my editing every day, and they literally, I do have a Fenty problem, I really do. But anyway, this isn't about Fenty. So I've just put the Fenty gloss on, and now that sort of sticky feeling, I'm completely unaware of it. All I can feel is the lovely hydration I get from this. So I'm not actually unhappy with that sticky feeling because it's taken 2 hours to bother me. And also I wanted to reach for some sort of hydration, which I always do. So a lot of you might not want to reach for hydration like I do, and then that sticky feeling will irritate you. So just keep that in mind with this. But I do think now with the gloss on, it's looking even better. This is a clear gloss, so it hasn't added colour, but you can really see my lips is still carrying an awful lot of colour, and I think the gloss almost sort of highlights that. So I think this is very good for longevity. I'm very pleased with it. But it really depends on how you like to look after your lips throughout the day. So if I wasn't at home, I actually have, this makes me sound really obsessed now, but I actually have a Fenty keychain on my handbag with a gloss in it. So I'm never without my gloss ever, or some sort of lip balm, and I'm always topping up. Even if I was to go out without a bag, I've got one in my pocket. It's an essential for me, so it doesn't bother me. But if you're someone who might be out and about during the day and you don't have a lip balm or a gloss, that sticky feeling might irritate you. So just keep that in mind. But otherwise, I think it's really good, and I will be looking for more for sure. So this is 442 Espresso Kiss. So I managed to remove that quite easily with a wipe, but one thing I do remember is that when I swatched them on my hands, they didn't just swatch off straight away. So here's an example. I've gone over now with a makeup remover, and can you see how much is left? So if I go back over and scrub a lot harder, there's just a hint of it still there. So it does tell me that these are likely to be quite long lasting, which is very unique and different for a lip gloss. So now I'm going to finish with 610, which is called Nude Champion. So you've seen this swatch, but this is how this one looks. They're not very different. Actually, let me swatch them both side by side so you can see how close they are to each other. So this is Nude Champion and this is Espresso. So I say they're close to each other. Now I see them side by side. They're not actually. They are quite different, but they're both that sort of rich, they've both got a rich brown, but the other one is more of a clear espresso brown. So anyway, let's try on Nude Champion. This is the better one to go with this eye look. It's very, very thin, this doe foot. It's very, very different. I like the pointed edge for the precision, but it's quite strange when you're applying it. But it picks up plenty of product, so it does the job. It's just not that sort of thick, really cushioned feeling we get with lots of lip gloss doe foots. Now, YSL lip products, in all honesty for me, have never really been something high on my list. I've never been that wowed by them, mainly because of the lack of pigment. I love this. I love the formula and I love the pigment. I love the shine. I'm very, very, very impressed with these. So there we have 610 Nude Champion. An awful lot of pigment. Honestly, these have really amazed me. I'd love to see these in more of sort of like pinky, true pinks. Maybe they do have them. I've just never tried this formula, but I would definitely be interested in looking now, probably today even, on the YSL website for this formula in different shades, because I'm very, very impressed with this. I love it. I think this is my new favourite YSL lip formula. And this packaging has to be the best, it really does. So another successful YSL review that has really, really, really impressed me. And the eyeshadow, I think this one and the green that just launched, the Unexplored Garden, would be my top 2 out of the 5 that have just launched. That's how much I like this one. I think is absolutely gorgeous, real knockout. I love it. I love the packaging. I love this pink. It's nice to have something different, so they're not all exactly the same. And the packaging on these, the prettiest packaging ever, with those hearts. So classy, so beautiful. I love the marbled effect, and the hearts is the extra touch. Plus you can see in the window of the heart the colour of the actual product, which is very clever. I love the way that this is just giving me so much pigment. At the moment I don't think I need to reach for hydration, but you already know by now whether or not that lasted. I do think I'm going to get quite a bit of longevity from this, but again, you know better than me because you've seen my update. But if it gives me longevity, boy am I going back for some more if they're available. I don't know if this is a new product even. You're probably watching this screaming at me because you know, but I don't know. I haven't tried this formula before. I'm definitely interested in trying more. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this collection? Did you buy it instantly when you saw it advertised on Selfridges? I know a lot of you did comment when I showed you that it was released, that you bought it straight away. And have you got it yet? Have you tried it? What are your thoughts? Or are you thinking of getting it? Or some of you may have been waiting to see it reviewed with the 4 that came out recently, or not recently for some people, because not all 4 have launched everywhere, but some of you I know are waiting to see them all, so you can make a decision maybe on just one, which would obviously the most sensible thing to do, is to maybe just choose a favourite and buy the one. So which one out of the 5 that have launched are your favourites, and where does this one rank in that list of 5? This is definitely running number 2 for me after that green. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. It would almost be joint 2, but joint 1, sorry, but green has to take number 1 spot for me. But this is absolutely stunning, and I do think that by using the glitter products today it worked better. So my recommendation would be not so much glitter glue, even though it worked perfectly, but definitely the Pat McGrath if you've got this in your collection. It's very useful, it works. I've got no fallout, much less mess to handle those toppers. And if, like the person who said with contact lenses is concerned, applying it like this, I'm not getting any grittiness because it's not falling into my eyes. So I think it'd be a lot safer. Not that I'm remotely qualified to speak on what's safe for people who wear contact lenses, so please take that with a pinch of salt. But I have very sensitive eyes, and I have no sensation whatsoever of the shimmer getting into my eyes or causing any sort of discomfort, which happened to me a bit yesterday. So anyway, I really hope that you found this helpful, but if you have enjoyed this video, if you could hit the like button, that would be ever so good. And if you could hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, I would love it ever so much if you did. But if you're already subscribed, you're at the end of another review, and I'm so grateful to you. I really, really am. And I do hope to see you all again for my next video very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.